Heartbreaking news about Rick Harrison has left fans in shock. The beloved Pawn Stars leader, who built an empire out of historical treasures and family stories, is now grappling with a deeply personal tragedy that has rocked his world. This time, it's not about the shop or TV fame. It's a loss that touches the very core of his life. For almost 2 decades, Pawn Stars has entertained millions with its unique way of presenting history. The show stands out for turning everyday interactions into fascinating stories. At the center of it all is Rick Harrison, the co-founder of the show and the pawn shop. Rick has spent most of his life working hard to build the business. But while his career has flourished, his personal life has faced many challenges, including a long legal fight that shook his family. Rick's full name is Richard Kevin Harrison. He was born on March 22, 1965, to Richard the Old Man Benjamin Harrison and Joanne Rue Harrison. He was the third of 4 children, with siblings Sherry, Joseph, and Chris. The Harrison family lived in Lexington, North Carolina. Their father, Richard, was away a lot because he served in the U.S. Navy. His time away was hard on the family, but it was necessary. Rick's sister, Sherry, was born with Down syndrome. Their dad stayed in the Navy to ensure her medical needs were covered. Sadly, Sherry passed away when she was just 6 years old. This loss deeply affected their father, who later said, "Sherry was the light of my life for the short time we had her." Rick was only a year old when Sherry passed, so he never had the chance to know her well. If he had, losing her might have been too much for him to bear. By the time Rick was 2, the family moved to San Diego, California, due to his father's transfer. Growing up after the loss of his sister was hard, especially seeing how it affected his parents. Rick soon became the focus of his parents' attention when he started having epileptic seizures at 8. He often had to stay in bed for long periods. During this time, he developed a love for reading. Rick enjoyed adventure stories and had a keen interest in physics and history, especially the Royal Navy of the late 1700s and early 1800s. When he was well enough, he attended Taft Middle School in San Diego. Rick was naturally curious and had a strong business sense. He dropped out of high school to focus on making money by selling fake Gucci bags, earning up to $2,000 a week. In April 1981, the Harrison family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, after their real estate business failed. Rick's dad opened a small 300-square-foot shop on Las Vegas Boulevard South that sold second-hand gold and silver coins. Rick was 17 at the time, and things seemed steady until he and his girlfriend, Kim, faced a life-changing event. Kim became pregnant, but sadly, the pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. Losing his first child was painful for Rick, and Kim felt the same loss. However, this shared grief brought them closer, and they decided to get married. Within 2 years, they welcomed their first child, Corey, in 1983. Their second son, Adam, followed soon after. But after Adam's birth, Rick and Kim's relationship ended. The reasons behind their split remain unclear. The separation left Rick struggling for a while, but things changed when he met Tracy. Rick met Tracy on a blind double date 9 months after his split from Kim. They dated for 6 months and soon moved in together. 8 months later, they married and took on the responsibility of raising Corey and Adam. By the time Rick was 23, he had made enough money to become a partner in his father's business. Rick's knowledge of history and physics helped boost the shop's reputation. He would share interesting facts about each coin, making them more appealing to customers. While working with his dad, Rick also repossessed cars at night. But as business improved, he quit the night job to focus on the shop. 5 years later, the business moved to a bigger spot on Fremont Street. However, after 2 years, they lost their lease and had to move again. Rick and his dad decided to turn the shop into a pawn shop. It felt like the next logical move. However, an old 1955 law in Las Vegas limited the number of pawn licenses based on the population. By the 1980s, the population had passed 200,000 and was still growing. Rick and his dad called the city statistician weekly to keep track and planned to apply for a license as soon as the population reached 250,000. In 1989, the city hit that number. Even then, the Harrisons had to overcome some legal obstacles before they could get their pawn license. That same year, they finally opened the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South, just under 2 miles from the Las Vegas Strip. At first, Rick and his dad focused on selling special sports memorabilia and unique historical items. But soon, jewelry became their top seller. Over time, their shop gained recognition in Las Vegas. By 2005, they were lending millions each year and earning hundreds of thousands in interest. The following year, the shop became known for its rare sports items with interesting stories. One famous piece was a 2001 Super Bowl ring that belonged to football player Brock Williams. The shop also helped gamblers who pawned items to get money for gas so they could drive home. The store's success caught the attention of the History Channel, which led to the creation of Pawn Stars. The idea for Pawn Stars came from Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines of Left Field Pictures. In 2008, they visited Las Vegas and were fascinated by the unique pawn shops they saw. They realized these shops had interesting stories and people, so they looked for a family-owned shop to feature in a TV show. They found the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, located just a couple of miles from the Las Vegas Strip. The shop, managed and co-owned by Rick, had over 10,000 items and had even been shown in a PBS documentary back in 2001. Rick had always wanted a TV show about his store. Brent and Colby first pitched the idea to HBO, but it was rejected. HBO didn't like the original idea. However, they agreed to let them revise it. The show's format was changed to be more family-friendly. It was originally called Pawning History, but was later renamed Pawn Stars as a playful twist on the phrase porn stars. While filming Pawn Stars, the store would close to the public. Only a few approved customers were allowed inside during shooting. The Harrison family became very popular because of the show. Many viewers loved it and wanted more episodes, which helped the show grow and return season after season. Pawn Stars became the top-rated show on the History Channel. By January 2011, it was the second highest-rated reality show, right behind Jersey Shore. On June 7, 2011, Rick released his book, License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver. By June 26th, it reached number 22 on the New York Times bestseller list. But 2011 was also a hard year for Rick, as he and his second wife, Tracy, got divorced. Despite the personal challenge, Rick announced his engagement to Deanna Burdett the following year. Like Rick, Deanna had also been divorced before. Rick's career continued to soar with the show's success and growing fan base. He and his team, including Corey and Chumley, made guest appearances as themselves on iCarly in an episode called I Lost My Head in Vegas. Just a few days later, Rick played an antique store owner in an episode of The Middle. Around that time, Rick married Deanna Burdett in Laguna Beach, California, becoming a stepfather to her 3 daughters, Serena, Kiana, and Marissa. Rick became the spokesperson for the MicroTouch One razor, a men's shaving product, and appeared in a television commercial for it in January 2014. A few months later, the History Channel launched United Stuff of America, a show produced by the creators of Pawn Stars. The show highlighted significant artifacts from important historical events. Another show, the game show Pawnography, premiered on the History Channel in July 2014, featuring Rick, Corey, and Chum Lee competing against contestants to stop them from winning cash and items from the gold and silver pawn shop's inventory. Despite Rick's success, he faced hard times. Some of these sad events were out of his control. One of the hardest moments was losing his father, Richard, known as the Old Man, on Pawn Stars in June 2018. Rick announced the news to his 45,000 Instagram followers and said his father passed away due to Parkinson's disease. A representative for the Harrison family confirmed Richard's death, sharing the same statement that Rick had posted. Rick shared a touching photo of his dad in a black suit, glasses, and a fedora. He wrote, "Richard Benjamin, the Old Man." Harrison passed away this morning, surrounded by his loved ones. He will be deeply missed by our family, the team at Gold and Silver Pawn, and his many fans around the world. The History Channel also shared their sorrow, releasing a statement saying, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of our friend Richard the Old Man Harrison, a cherished member of the History and Pawn Stars family. We will miss his wisdom and honesty. Our thoughts are with the Harrison family during this difficult time." Rick spoke about how much his dad meant to him and how he shaped his life. "He was my hero," Rick said. "I was lucky to have such a cool dad like the Old Man. I'm thankful I got to share him with others who saw what a great family man he was. He lived a full life, and through Pawn Stars, he touched people everywhere. He showed the value of family, hard work, and laughter." Rick also thanked everyone for their kind thoughts and asked for privacy during this tough time. Rick posted another photo of his dad as a young man in a Navy uniform. He wrote, "Today, I lost a friend, a father, a teacher, and so much more. The Old Man lost his long fight with Parkinson's this morning. Love you, Dad. See you on the other side." The Harrison family was deeply saddened by the loss. Rick now had to handle all the responsibilities of caring for the family and running the shop alone. Things became even harder when the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2019. The pandemic brought serious challenges for Rick and affected the business badly. Many people were struggling financially, and it seemed like pawn shops would do well because they provide quick cash in tough times. But this wasn't true for most pawn shops. While there was a brief surge at the start, business quickly dropped off. In a talk with Fox News, Rick shared how COVID-19 affected the pawn shop business. He said the industry was struggling to recover. People were busy with daily life and not visiting pawn shops as often. Things got worse when he had to close his shop in March 2020 as COVID-19 cases rose. The tourist part of the business was shut for 30 days, though financial services stayed open. Rick stayed determined to keep the business going. He promised that he and the team at Gold and Silver Pawn Shop would work even harder. In an April 2020 interview with a local Las Vegas news station, Rick said, "We lowered interest rates on items and gave people more time to get their things back. I knew what everyone was dealing with. I've been in this town a long time, and it has given me a lot. I always tried to give back." Rick was hopeful and thought the economy would bounce back in about 6 months. But that didn't happen. According to the Daily Mail in 2020, the shop, which usually made over $1 million a year, only earned $337,046 due to COVID-19. Besides business troubles, Rick faced personal issues. He divorced his third wife, whom he married in September 2020. TMZ got court papers showing that Rick and Deanna had grown apart and couldn't stay married. Rick said their tastes, opinions, and preferences were too different to work as a couple. TMZ noted the divorce might have gone unnoticed because it happened during the national George Floyd protests. Rick told TMZ, "I got 3 great daughters out of it," talking about Deanna's kids from her past marriage. He explained that the divorce was mutual, and he has moved on. His recent Instagram posts show he still shares strong connections with his stepdaughters. In one post on August 7th, he wrote, "Father-Daughter Day Off-Roading," showing how close they remain. Rick often talks about the special bond he has with his stepdaughters, which is a bright side of things. Through all the tough moments, his son Corey has been a steady source of support. In 2022, Rick faced more problems. His mother, Joannes Rue, took legal action against him over family assets and the ownership of the gold and silver pawn shop. USA Today reported that she filed a civil lawsuit in Nevada State Court. The lawsuit named Rick, the shop, Harrison Properties, Jorick Properties, and others as defendants. The money issues strained their relationship. Joanne accused Rick of breaking an agreement. She pointed out that she was married to Richard, the Old Man Harrison, for almost 60 years. When he died in 2018, she inherited his 49% share of the shop. Joanne said that in the early 2000s, when she was in the hospital and had just come out of a coma, Rick had her sign papers giving up her 51% ownership of the pawn shop. She claimed she wasn't fully aware of what she was signing at the time. This situation painted Rick in a bad light. Fans who admired him as a family man were shocked by the claims. It seemed like he had turned against his own mother for money. Joanne said she hadn't received proper records about more than $500,000 in cash and silver that she believed Richard had before he died. She also mentioned that Rick stopped her payments of $225,000 that her husband used to send. Joanne wanted the court to bring back these payments. One article reported that Rick's mother, who was over 80, had many health problems. Her care cost up to $155,000 a month. Joanne even filed a temporary restraining order to stop Rick from selling family assets. This order would also prevent Rick from moving money or reducing her share in the family business. She wanted the court to put her property under a trust that Rick couldn't control. Fans worried that Rick's money could be at risk. Rick later responded to these claims, saying, "The accusations are not true, and I believe my 81-year-old mom is being influenced by others." He shared that he only found out about the restraining order from news reports. "I've tried to contact her many times in the past months, but haven't been able to reach her," Rick added. He noted that one of the companies being sued was owned by his mother. This family struggle went on until 2024, when Rick Harrison faced his greatest loss. His son, Adam, passed away at 39. A public information officer in Clark County, Nevada, confirmed Adam's death was due to an overdose involving fentanyl and methamphetamine. The Clark County Medical Examiner's Office ruled his death as accidental. Concerns arose when a neighbor noted Adam hadn't been seen since January 17th. On January 19th, Adam's landlord found him unresponsive and called law enforcement. Rick announced Adam's death with a heartfelt Instagram post. He shared a photo of them together at a restaurant and wrote, "You'll always be in my heart. I love you, Adam," followed by a broken heart emoji. On January 26th, family spokesperson Laura Hervich confirmed the cause of death as a fentanyl overdose. She said, "We are deeply saddened by Adam's passing. Please respect our privacy as we mourn this loss." Rick also released a statement highlighting the seriousness of the fentanyl crisis in the country. He urged that this issue be taken more seriously to prevent other families from facing similar heartbreak. After Rick's tribute, many friends and followers shared their condolences. Donald Trump Jr. expressed his sympathy, simply commenting, "I'm so sorry, man." Adam's older brother, Corey, also posted a childhood photo of them on his Instagram, writing, "I'll always love you, Bubba. Although Adam wasn't a familiar face on Pawn Stars, he did work at Gold and Silver Pawn for some time before choosing a different path and becoming a plumber. Corey once explained that Adam was never interested in appearing on the show. The loss left a deep impact on Rick and the entire family. It was a reminder of the real and devastating effects of the opioid crisis affecting so many. Even with all the success and fame Rick had built over the years, the grief of losing his son was overwhelming. Despite all the hard times and loss, Rick stays hopeful and keeps his focus on work. He doesn't let his pain show and finds comfort in staying busy. Besides running his pawn shop and being on TV, Rick has also shown interest in politics. In 2020, he supported Donald Trump for president and endorsed Daniel Rodimer for Nevada's 3rd Congressional District. Rick even thought about running for governor of Nevada in 2022. He mentioned he might run for the U.S. Senate in 2024, saying, "A lot of people in the party have talked to me about it, and I'm considering it. I haven't decided yet, but I'm keeping my options open." In November 2023, Rick hit another milestone. He was named a Kentucky colonel during an episode of the Pawn Stars spin-off that was partly filmed at Locust Grove. This title is the highest honor given by the governor of Kentucky. Rick's personal life is also taking a positive turn. He is dating Angie Pushkin, a nurse from Las Vegas. His representative confirmed their relationship to People, and Rick said, "Angie and I met 6 months ago. She's a nurse in Las Vegas. We've been in Europe for the past couple of weeks, celebrating her birthday." Rick shared photos of their trip, including a fancy night out in Paris, showing their growing relationship. Angie isn't the mother of Rick's children and is much younger than him, but they seem happy together. Through all the highs and lows, Rick keeps moving forward. His story shows how someone can stay strong even when life throws challenges their way. Despite business struggles, personal loss, and family issues, Rick finds ways to rebuild and focus on what's ahead. Some people had mixed reactions to Rick's post with Angie at the Eiffel Tower. Some comments were critical, hinting that she was too young for him and calling her a gold digger. One viewer of Pawn Stars even asked, "Does she like your money?" Rick, known for being good at reading people, ignored these comments. He didn't let negativity get to him. Instead, he kept focusing on enjoying life with Angie. Rick and Angie have done many fun activities together. They went to an Adele concert in Las Vegas, met former president and presidential candidate Donald Trump, and visited famous places in London. They even celebrated more of Angie's birthday in June 2024. It seems Rick is finding joy in these new experiences, even after facing tough times. Rick has dealt with many hardships over the years. He has faced legal battles, business problems, personal losses, and broken marriages. Losing his son, Adam, was especially hard, and it will take time for him to heal from that tragedy. Fans are hopeful he will find peace and move forward. Now, Rick no longer works full-time at the pawn shop. Instead, he is part of Pawn Stars Do America, which is now in its 2nd season. He seems to be embracing semi-retirement, taking things a bit slower. Rick spends quality time with Angie and his family, finding a balance between work and enjoying life. This new chapter shows that even after major challenges, Rick is trying to find happiness and make the most of his days.